I think it's now about time I did this. It's been too long now, but I think it's time he got this. This Christmas shout out goes to my wonderful best friend, David Scott. Well, this Christmas message, sorry, not Christmas shout out, Christmas message, goes to my wonderful best friend, David Scott, my number one best friend, whom I wouldn't change having a best friendship for the world. I would never change it. And since we met back in July of 2021, I would never, never, never change having a friendship with him. I mean, he's brilliant. He's fantastic in every way, and has helped me. What he'd introduced me to, not only did it open up the doorway to a newfound opportunity, but it really helped me very, very greatly in life. Helped me with overcoming a very saddening loss, which I seldom got the chance to make a good full recovery from, and also overcoming sadness from dealing with relationship issues and dealing with great sadness over an internship course I did that didn't make it all the way through. And with all those three things combined that I was dealing with, it got to a point where it was just too much and pushed me to a mental breaking point, which broke me mentally. Normally, if I took up something and it didn't work out, or I could not succeed at something, normally I would just, like a lot of people, I'd just be under disappointment. But because I was dealing with so much, it was just too much to deal with, which could explain why it broke me for such a long time, because I was dealing with that included. It was three difficult things all at once, and so it obviously got to a point where it was too much at this point. But I really wished I'd spoken about it to you earlier, David, but it was just too painful to talk about it back in 2021. But I'm happy I eventually opened up to you about it at the Detling 2024 event. And then David shared something very philosophical with me when I opened up what it's really meant to him, what it's really meant to me, having a friendship with him, and the events he's got me into, because, it's not only has it proved instrumentally useful in helping me with overcoming the loss of my wonderful late grandfather Edmund, and overcoming a crippled sadness that broke me, which really broke me mentally, to the point where I took no pleasure out of life. I also credit David and thank David greatly for the event attending he introduced me to, because it's also proved instrumentally useful in helping me focus on a newfound refocusing pathway to a newfound happiness in life. And since then, over time, it didn't happen straight away, but over time, as I got used to the event attending and looked up some of the events on the website he sent me, I'm actually very happy to say now that I'm the happiest I've been since before my grandfather died. It's not, but I do not take this for granted at all. I share this with a huge, enormously huge, strong grip of shanking gratitude towards David himself. I mean, I could not thank him enough for it. I really couldn't. Even now, when looking back on this now, in the 3 years that we've been friends, sometimes it gives me goosebumps. I always thank David big time for everything. Always. Always will I. Never could I once take you for granted, David. I really couldn't. So I have a lot to thank for him, and he also had something to thank towards me too, but really I give the most thanking credit to him. Even though he's given some thanking credit to me, he needn't. He needn't give me thanking credit for suggesting YouTubing to him. It was just a casual suggestion, and I don't normally expect people to take it up. But he seemingly on the get-go took it up, and is now, in the 3 years that he's done YouTubing, He's nearly amassed almost 1k subscribers in 3 years for the content he provides. So that's a big well done, David. Impressive popular milestones you've been reaching in the 3 years that you've been YouTubing. Well done. Very impressive step forward. I mean, it took me much longer than that to even get 1k. But really, David, well done. Well done. And also, you know, there are very minimal chances one could meet somebody like David himself, or even Jonathan, not to mention. Heritage enthusiasts, you know, classic car and vintage, you know, classic car and vintage heritage organ enthusiasts, or an enthusiast to all things vintage and heritage. There's very few chances one could meet people like those kinds of people. You know, I mean, it's very few chances one could meet somebody like that. It just makes me only all the more appreciative of the friendship that I have with David, because there are very few people like him with the interest that he retains and all that. But through David, it's even opened the door to encountering other new friends, like Tommy Gardiner, Thomas Gavioli, Ian Postlethwaite, Matt Lyons, and all those wonderful people. I mean, those wonderful people, and Peter Mackett, not to mention, those wonderful people. There was only one person who had found out about them as a result, because of David. And also another notable classic car enthusiast who I wouldn't change having a friendship with him for the world. Another classic car enthusiast who I could also notably point out, Dave Bryan. Had it not been for David and the classic car content that I do, or the classic car affinity he got me into doing and taking up, I'm sure I would never have had the chance to have met Dave Bryan himself. So, sometimes I'm even lost without words even describing the wonderful new life it's got me into since meeting David. I'm always a rail enthusiast. I'm always a rail and bus enthusiast. I still am and always will be. But alongside that, I've got other added affinities too. I've got other additional affinities, and now you've seen the new affinity I took up for live streaming. One could say I have a crazy affinity for live streaming. It was an affinity I was originally hoping to do in around about 2022, but things didn't work. It didn't work on the computer at the time, but I've now got it sorted in 2024, but that's another story. I don't think David's quite keen on live streaming. And I did ask if he wanted to do a live stream appearance, but he's not keen at the moment, because he was like, I'm self-conscious. I mean, understandably so, because I'm not going to lie, it can take quite an effort to make a live stream appearance, especially if it's live on the StreamYard and on YouTube or any social media site, because you're going to have lots of other people watching you and seeing you, and you need to try and present yourself in the best way that you can. But many say I do come across quite well whenever I've either made live stream appearances or done live streams themselves. So I thank those who have complimented me for it. You know. But getting to the next story. To meet somebody like David, you know, who can share his affinity so openly about the classic cars and vintage vehicles. And, you know, there are not a lot of people are like that. Not a lot of people can just openly express their profound affinity towards something because they, you know, fear of people, you know, getting cross or angry or snappy at them, certainly in this very day and age. But I didn't once get cross when David shared his affinity for classic cars and vintage vehicles and even steam rallies that he's known to go to. The steam rallies that David is by and large known to go to, I'm now known to go to them annually as well, thanks to him. But I just wished I never doubted the Tinker's Park suggestion he provided me back in July of 2021. But I think had I not been felt so mentally broken back then, I think I would have taken it up without hesitation. But even though I did not completely, I wouldn't say I rejected it. No, I doubted, yes, because of how I was feeling. But I thought about it. I thought about it carefully. And eventually, as the day of the Tinker's Park event drew nearer, because it was about 2 weeks before the event was due to take place, when David mentioned Tinker's Park to me, as the day drew nearer, I remembered what he said, and I thought, okay, that's where I need to go. I'm going to go. So I went. I was impressed with the result. I was so impressed. I went as far as regretting having doubts about going to the event. It made me happy when I went. I began to feel gradually I felt a tremendous weight lifted off of my shoulders when I went. And I was so impressed, yet so happy with the result of the Tinker's Park event. On the 8th of August of 2021, I decided that I was going to go back in 2022, which I did. Twice. I went twice in 2022 and 3 times in 2023. And hoping to go, and only went once in 2024, so things went a bit done in, sadly, and never mind. But in 2025, I don't know if I can go 4 times in 2025, but I'm hoping to go no less than 3 times in 2025. I'm hoping every year to go to Tinker's Park no less than 3 times a year. Certainly no less than 3 times per year. I mean, it's just a wonderful place to go to. Fantastic place to go to Tinker's Park. And Lawton, not to mention Lawton Valley, be it the Spring Cuckoo Fair and the autumn version, they're always fantastic results. And of course, not to mention Headingley Festival of Transport Broyle and Parham Park. Oh, Parham Park. Originally there was another one called the Western, which unfortunately has been discontinued. It's since been discontinued since 5 years ago. But 3 years ago, an alternative, which is now Parham Park in Pulborough in West Sussex, has now come on the cards. Taking place annually since about 2022, which was when I went. I didn't go in 2024, but I'm going to go in 2025. Fantastic results whenever it takes place. I mean, really, I can't thank David enough for introducing me to those events. I cannot thank him enough, big time, for it. And to meet somebody who can open up to you so openly about these events, with little to no fear whatsoever. It's an impressive quality for many people. It really is an impressive quality that not many has. There are people who do have it, but I don't know many who have that quality. So it was something I admire about David himself, I'm always forever thankful for all the events you introduced me to, David. And certainly the website you introduced me to, because had I not found out about this website, I never would have annually gone to Tenterden Bus Rally. Because it was through the website link that you sent to me. That was how I found out about it. And have now been going annually since 2021. And I'm aiming to go again certainly for 2025. Honestly, you are well and truly a fantastic best friend anybody could ever say. I mean this from the deepest soul depth of my heart, David. Sometimes I get emotional looking back on it. And in the now 23 years of my life and the 3 years that I've been friends with David, what more could anybody ask? Having a best friend in your life is what everybody needs. Going to these events, not only has it helped me with overcoming great crippled sadness to the point where I was broken and lost interest in life. And of course, prolonged grief, and helping me with overcoming loss and the prolonged grief following the loss of my late grandfather Edmund. It also taught me that there's real value in life. It helped me see the value in life once again, and it renewed my interest in life. And I'm now as full as life now as I had been since before my grandfather died. Since then, I thank you big time for it, David. I mean, obviously it worried my mother quite a very great deal, and the family, given how broken I was at the time when I first met you. But it was after then, I mean, even my mother's noticed a real difference in me since going to these events. And even my mother thanks you for it, David. She really does. I mean, big time she does. Myself, on behalf of my family, thank you for entering my life. You entered my life for a real purpose, and one real purpose only. Not only just for friendship purposes, but helping those who most need somebody in their life. You know, I wished I'd only realised this at the time when I first met you. You know. And also it's because of you I'm able to pass on the values of the event attending that I do, share what values they bring, and the importance of its heritage and all that. I even passed on your affinity, which you passed on to me. I passed it on to a teenager who's the Loco Emotion channel, 2 channels he's got, who's only a mere 16 years of age teenager who could pass for being about 21, something like that. You wouldn't know he's as young as 16. He said that I never knew this. It wasn't until 4 months after I first met him that since he met me and since he went to the event we both went to, it had changed his life completely. As a result of you, which has changed my life with the event attending, I've now even changed the life of another person, and I didn't think this would happen. So thank you, David. Thank you. And honestly, whatever your plans are it's mainly meant to be a Christmas message, but may we all take the time to wish my bestie, David Scott, a very Merry Christmas and a wonderful, wonderful New Year, meaning that Christmas 2024, quite obviously so, and a wonderful New Year of crazy event-attending mania for 2025. I don't think David would be up for crazy event attending, but just happy casual event attending, as we generally do, but we always relish the thrill in the values that they provide and all that. So really, David, I mean, I would understand why you're questioning me doing this, but you deserve a special Christmas message. For all that you've done for me, you deserve this big time. You well and truly deserve it big time. May I wish you a very Merry Christmas of 2024 and a wonderful New Year for 2025. Thanks all everybody for watching. Please let me know what your thoughts were on this in the comments down below. And certainly please do wish David a Merry Christmas on his channel for those of you who want to see it. And certainly for those of you who have not seen his channel yet, I'd certainly recommend one subscribes to it. I'm hoping he gets to 1K by 2025. Thank you all for watching. Merry Christmas to you, David. I know it's not quite Christmas yet, but I'm wishing you a wonderful, wonderful Christmas of 2024 for when it happens. Thank you all for watching.